Hello everyone, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for Kitaholic Kits design team layout. So for this layout, I decided to break out the beautiful Delusionals paints, and I wanted to do a little bit of a mixed media background. So I got the sponge that was included in the sea sponge that came in the watercolor kit a few months back, and I dipped it in water and soaked up a little bit of paint, not too much. I didn't want this to be too bright and too full on, and just dabbed my paint around the paper. Now, bonus points if you can work out what it is that I'm making. It will become clear as I continue on with my creation. In fact, it might be becoming more clear even as we speak. So once I have created this, I do pop it aside and let it dry. And I've got to be honest with you, I didn't actually love the look of it. I created it, and this was exactly what I thought I wanted in my head. But then when I looked at the finished product, it just didn't really go with the design I had planned. So I do still continue to use my page and to use what I have created, but I do just change it up a little bit. Well, actually quite a lot. I changed it up a lot. So I did leave this process of creating this heart in just so you can sort of see what I have done. But in the end, you will notice that there's not much of this mixed media left to be seen around the page. So I am going to pop this aside to dry in just a moment. Just had to clean up that splot. So I am going to pop this aside to dry, and once it has dried, I just decided it wasn't quite the look I was going for. So I went ahead and Stanley knifed all of the love hearts out of the love heart paper, the one with the navy blue on the back, and then I stapled white paper, the blue punchinella, and then one of the love hearts on top. I stapled those all together and folded them up. So you can kind of see in the pile off to the right hand side, the punchinella that's showing in between the stapled hearts. Then I had a few hearts left over that I hadn't been able to use. So I just put two colored hearts together and stapled those as well. So I've got a mixture of white punchinella and pattern paper, and then alternatively just pattern paper hearts. And I'm just popping those all over half of this mixed media background. No real rhyme or reason. I'm trying not to put, too many of the same right next to each other, but in general, I'm just sticking them on with my glue. I am sort of closing them, flattening them, just while I put them down, just so that I can make sure I can squeeze in as many as possible, because I really want to fill all of the gaps and use as many of those hearts as I possibly can. And I really love the way this is coming together. I think this is going to be so cute. I sort of had this idea in my head, and I just had to roll with it and see what would come. So I'm going to go ahead and stick all these down, and hopefully when it is complete, you will agree that this look is super cute. Very dimensional though, so do be aware that it is going to add quite a little bit of height and thickness to your scrapbook page. Now I've essentially finished, and I could stop there, but when I started folding up the hearts again to get the sort of look of the punchinella in between, I noticed that there were a few sort of vacant holes that started to appear. So luckily I still had a few hearts left, and I added those into the missing gaps. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all of that as well, and you can sort of see where those gaps are starting to form as I fold up each of the hearts. So just doing all that. I love the way that punchinella just sort of shines out underneath each of those little folded hearts. They're almost like hundreds of little butterflies there, but that's why I put it on a heart shape, because I just love the concept of the hearts on the hearts. I think it looks so cool. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead, and I end up using nearly all of these love hearts. There's quite a few that make it onto the page. I think I end up with maybe 3 left over, so I do use those again when embellishing my actual layout, my actual photo. So I did leave all that to dry because I really wanted to make sure that the hearts were quite secure on the page. And once that is dried, I come back and check it out and decide that the other half, the mixed media half that you can still see, isn't quite the look that I was going for. It just still doesn't quite work. So I matte my paper on the super cool, colorful sort of animal print design, and I cut out half a love heart using that exact same pattern paper. And I'm actually going to use that to cover the mixed media. But I don't completely cover it. I do leave a little bit of the sort of the bleeding of the colors poking out behind the pattern paper, and I'm much happier with the sort of look and feel of that. I think that looks a lot nicer to my eye than my messy love heart. It's so funny though, now that I'm watching this video, I'm like, oh, that mixed media love heart looks okay. I could have left it. But anyway, I didn't. So my photos, I cut those down quite small. They were printed 3x4 size. And when I saw that really large boarding pass piece of ephemera with the gorgeous shiny blue metallic paper, I decided I wanted to map my photos using that. So I cut my photos quite small, put them on a really thin white mat, and then put them onto the boarding pass. Now the boarding pass had rounded edges, so I also rounded the edges of my photo as well. And I really love the look. I often forget to round the edges of things, but I really love the look of rounding the edges. And in this particular layout, I think it really softened my photos and helped with the way there's so much round edges going on with my love hearts. So I think that helped there as well. So these three were literally the last love hearts I had. So they are going there because why not? Get them on the page. And I'm going to use this beautiful bright and colourful frame because I think that ties in with all the bright and colourful love hearts over on the right hand side. And I think it says remember, which works really well. Then I did fussy cut a few flowers off the pattern paper. I think it was page number 18. And I'm just going to layer up over on the sides of the photographs. It was quite difficult to embellish this once I had created the love heart because the love heart is quite busy and I didn't want to sort of over embellish the photos, but it definitely needed something, I felt. So yeah, I just kept it really simple with some fussy cut flowers. I must say I'm loving that pattern paper and I am fussy cutting nearly all the flowers, and I can see I will probably do it to the navy blue version also because it is gorgeous. Just popping up this flower on some foam because that's going to help, because obviously I put the photos on foam too, you saw that earlier, and that will help with the dimension of the layout. Beautiful little butterfly there. Then I go ahead and pop on my title. The title is really difficult to see in the video, but in the close-up photos you can see it quite clearly. And I also put some of the little spots from the Puffy Thickers sheet. They kind of reminded me a little bit of enamel dots, and I thought they were a nice little addition to the layout. So now that I've put on my title, and again, I know that you can't see it very well in the video, but I promise in real life it is much clearer, and you can see it in the close-up photos. I do just lightly splatter on some navy and some gold Heidi Swap Color Shine. And here is my finished layout. I'm really, really happy with it. I think the love hearts look so cool. I would never have done something like this before, so it really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I got the punchinella on a layout that I'm excited about in a different way. So thank you for watching and have a happy scrappy day.